My name is David Silverstein. I'm with American Home Contractors. I'm one of the brand managers over here, and we're going to be reacting to some posts online from user comments.
Its cost of panels and insulation does not offset the cost of savings, quote unquote, until after you pay them off.
After you pay them off. Well, I mean, you could get financing, you could cash flow the investment. Um, and when you're talking about a Tesla solar roof, you also have to consider the cost of replacing the roof underneath of the solar panels. So it's really tough to do a one-to-one comparison unless you take into consideration replacing the roof, putting the solar panels on top, and there's tax advantages to going with an integrated system like Tesla Solar Roof because of the tax credit and how everything's integrated into one system. So it's really an apples versus oranges comparison. If you're going to replace your roof or you need a new roof already, like new construction, then the Tesla Solar Roof is definitely a better option. It's all integrated, you have the tax credit, and it's just a much better system.
932 says it's cheaper to subscribe to a utility scale renewable choice program and just get a battery for DR.
Utility scale renewable choice program. I guess he's referring to a solar farm. Well, if you subscribe to a solar farm, you're basically paying them for the electricity that they produce, but electrons going through the grid, you can't really control, getting those electrons versus electrons from a coal plant. So you're kind of just paying them instead of another energy producer. So even though it makes you feel good about going green, it's not like you're really going green. You're just supporting their operation, that solar farm. And if you add a battery, the battery is just attached to the grid. And again, you're using electrons from any energy source that's being produced and sent to the grid and distributed to your house. So, that doesn't, it's not a fair comparison. If you have solar on your own house, you're producing on site, you're consuming on site, and then you're storing the energy in the battery and you're discharging it for later use. So, it doesn't compare with going green with a solar farm or a wind farm. Even though it might make you feel good, you really can't control those electrons, and you're just supporting those operations. Hopefully you're paying less for that renewable energy source than you would elsewhere, but you're locking it in, and who knows with, the escalators built in, if you're truly saving money in the long term, if you lock it in and there becomes a cheaper source online for you to tap into.
Ren Frankie said, how do these compare to the Powerwall 2?
So the output of the Powerwall 3 is greater than the Powerwall 2. So most people will only require one Powerwall 3 as opposed to needing two or three to support their heavy loads in their electric panel. So you can get away with one battery as opposed to multiple. For one, the Powerwall 3 also has heat mode, so you can install it outside in colder climates, which you really couldn't do that with the Powerwall 2 based on efficiencies. I mean, you could, but it just wasn't good for the battery. The Powerwall 3 is a little bit smaller in size. The looks of it are different, and one of the key differences between the Powerwall 3 and the Powerwall 2 is the Powerwall 3 has a built-in inverter. So it has additional pieces of equipment built into the battery itself, so you don't require extra pieces of equipment being mounted to the wall, taking up space and not looking as good. It's just a nice clean Powerwall 3. And if your utility company has the backup meter approved in your area, then you can opt for a backup meter instead of the gateway, or backup switch, sorry, which also takes away the need to install a big bulky gateway on the side of the house as well. So it's very clean.
Nice. What's the process to become a Master Elite certified company?
So American Home Contractors is a Tesla Solar Roof certified installer. We're a Tesla Energy certified installer, actually. We can install Tesla Solar Roof, Powerwalls, wall connectors, Power Share, and provide various services for people looking to get Tesla products in our marketplace. And the certification process for us was filling out paperwork, providing our license, our insurance certificates, showing financial stability, bank statements, that type of stuff. And then going through online training was important for us to show Tesla that we understood the concepts of installing their products and services to the marketplace, and then securing a few jobs so that we could actually get on the job training. We've sent our crews out to training facilities to get additional training as well. And it really is important to make sure you understand how to install the products efficiently. And your first few installs, I would highly recommend choosing a friend, family, co-worker's house to do the install on, because it takes a little bit of time to get proficient at it. And you want to practice on somebody's home that you're familiar with as opposed to the general public.
Tesla Solar.
So Tesla does a lot of research on sustainability. They provide a report at the end of each year on their sustainability. And even though, it creates carbon to make their products, like their vehicles, their Powerwall batteries and such, during the lifespan of their products, it more than offsets that initial production cost in terms of CO2 in the atmosphere. From when you're mining and burning resources for things to perform day in and day out, you have to constantly mine and burn more of that resource ongoing. Whereas renewable energy sources, even though, when you make the product, you're emitting carbon dioxide in the atmosphere along with other pollutants. After that, solar panels are harnessing the energy from the sun. So it's clean and it's renewable moving forward. So, if you have 25 or 30 years in that product of sustainability, it more than offsets that initial creation of that product as opposed to mining and burning for the duration of that 30 years. Right? And at the end of the 30 years, I know a lot of people will say you can't recycle them, you got to throw them in landfills, but you can recycle a lot of the materials and components in Tesla's products. And human ingenuity, once we have big enough problems to focus our efforts on, like once more electric vehicles need to be recycled, more batteries need to be recycled, more solar panels need to be recycled because they're at the end of their lifespan, we'll figure out better, more creative ways to recycle these materials and make them even more sustainable in the future.